Hello and what is up, guys? This is Toxic Shot 224 here, and if you read the title, we are back with the second fight ever. This is part 2 to the first fight ever. If you haven't watched that video, please go watch it and you'll get more to this story as it is. So we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, so you guys remember George, the douche. So we'll call this probably about 4th grade. And, you know, I'm a forgive and forget kind of guy. So, me and George, it was after basketball practice. I played basketball at this time. I don't play basketball much anymore, or any sport for that matter, not for this past year anyway. But, so, my aunt had to go to a different county. If you don't know what a county is, say like, if you're from Kentucky, Laurel County or Perry County or something like that. So me and, the coach had to stay after anyway, and George was the coach's son at this time. But that's why I said that, because the guy don't coach no more for my school. But, okay, so me and George were walking around after practice. And we were talking, and my mom grew up in the same hollow that George did. I don't know what he said. I completely forgot. Remember, this is a long time ago. But I guess something just triggered in me to beat the hell out of George. And, okay, I remember how this happened. I drawed my fist back and punched him in the nose. And then he was on the ground because he fell after I punched him in the nose and he couldn't. You know how if you punch somebody in the nose, you get hit in the nose, your eyes water really bad. Excuse me. So, I just get on top of George and I start beating his eyeballs in with both of my fists. And my aunt eventually came and picked me up, and I just told her I wasn't apologizing like that. But yeah, when I get mad sometimes, like, I cry, not because I'm sad, because I'm get so mad that it makes me cry. So my aunt comes and picks me up and she starts laughing, and George's dad was like furious. He said, "You're really laughing about this?" He took it like so offensive. And she said, "Yeah." So anyway, the next day we went home. And the next day I got called down to the principal's office. And I hadn't seen George all day. And I think it was in math class. I don't really know what period that was because we didn't really have periods at that time. But anyway, I got called down to the principal's office, and there sat George. Both of his eyeballs was swelled shut, and they were both black. I mean, those things were like popping out. They were so swelled. Not his eyeballs, but his like eyelids. They were just popping out, and they were black. And I don't know why, but I did not feel sorry for him. If I probably would now that I guess I've matured a little bit. Not really. I'm one of the most childish people you'll ever meet. But, okay, so the principal sets us down. And he's like, you did this, you did that, about the fight, and I agreed to it all. I wasn't going to sit there and lie because obviously the damage was already done. And there's this thing called spanking or paddling or whatever. And your parents had to sign something to where you could get paddled. So, my dad didn't sign it because he didn't want a grown man paddling me with a wooden board. And I knew he couldn't paddle me was the thing about it. And he gets out this big red paddle. It was almost like a shorter version of like the things you kayak with. So anyway, and I almost started laughing because he was trying to act big and bad and he smacked it on his desk. And I started laughing. He said, "You think that's funny?" And then I shook my head. Yes. And like his face turned blood red. I am not joking. His face was blood red. And I eventually just had to apologize to George, but it was kind of like a cocky apologize, like sorry. Then he told us to leave, and I walked out. And I would imagine, I didn't even look at George, but I would imagine if he could see, he'd probably look at me. But I think that's the end of the origins with the douche George. But I do have another fight story video. I have many of them actually. So drop a comment for part 3 and like this video for part 3. And I will see you guys later. I'm out.